In the 1990s, the most dangerous police car wasn't the one you could spot from a mile away, it was the one parked next to you at the light. From muscle cars in disguise to family sedans with a secret, these are the stories of law enforcement's greatest trick, when the deadliest predator looks just like its prey. The Ghost of the Highway 95, Chevrolet's secret weapon. The street racers learned too late. That stock Camaro in their mirror wasn't stock at all. It was a Corvette-hearted predator wearing sheep's clothing, and it just caught their plates on camera. Picture this, it's 1993 and you're cruising down Highway 95 in your souped-up Mustang. In your rearview mirror sits what appears to be just another Camaro. That's the last thought many speedsters had before meeting the legendary B4CSSP Camaro, a vehicle so rare that only 135 units were produced that year. Under its unassuming hood lurked the heart of a Corvette, the LT1 5.7-liter V8 engine. This wasn't just any police car. This was America's fastest production police vehicle, capable of reaching 160 miles per hour. The sound of its performance exhaust was often the last thing street racers heard before seeing the flash of hidden emergency lights. The B4C's genius lay in its disguise. Looking identical to a civilian Camaro RS, only subtle tells gave it away, if you knew where to look. The oversized sway bars, high-output alternator, and separate cooling systems remained hidden from view. A Florida Highway Patrol officer tells the story best. A group of street racers had been terrorizing I-95 for weeks, always spotting police cruisers from miles away. One night, they pulled up next to what they thought was just another Camaro at a light, even revving their engine in challenge. When the light turned green, the B4C kept pace just long enough to get all their plates on camera before lighting up like a Christmas tree. The look on their faces, he said, was priceless. The technical sophistication matched its stealth. A certified 145-mile-an-hour speedometer wasn't for show. These cars regularly operated at speeds that would shake apart civilian vehicles. Four-wheel disc brakes larger than standard models and specifically designed 16-inch aluminum wheels handled the extreme stress of high-speed pursuits. Today, finding one of these rare beasts is like finding a unicorn. Most were driven hard and put away wet, serving until there was nothing left to give. But for those who remember them, both the officers who drove them and the speedsters who learned hard lessons, the B4C SSP Camaro remains a ghost that still haunts the memories of anyone who thought they could outrun the law. Hit it with a truck, flood it with water, run it for 300,000 miles, the last tank laughed at destruction and asked for more. When the apocalypse comes, cockroaches and Crown Vics will be all that's left. The Crown Vic, when legends never die. Ask any cop who served in the 90s or 2000s about their Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, and you'll see their eyes light up. They called it the Crown Vic, and it wasn't just a car, it was a badge of honor on four wheels. For 2 decades, its silhouette in a rearview mirror became so iconic that traffic would part like the Red Sea at the mere sight of its distinctive headlights. What made the Crown Vic legendary wasn't just its 4.6-liter modular V8 engine, it was its indestructibility. These cars were built like tanks, with a body-on-frame design that could take a beating and come back for more. An NYPD Crown Vic once took a direct hit from a taxi at 70 miles an hour. Not only did the officer walk away, but the car was back on patrol within a week. The Crown Vic evolved from a respectable 190 to 210 horsepower in its early years, 1992 to 1995, to a robust 250 horses and nearly 300 foot-pounds of torque in its final iteration, 2007 to 2012. But here's the real kicker. While modern police vehicles typically retire at 80,000 miles, Crown Vics routinely sailed past 300,000 miles and kept going. They called it the last tank for good reason. Chevrolet tried with the Caprice, Dodge came with the Charger, but nothing matched the Crown Vic's perfect combination of durability, simplicity, and reliability. Officers loved the comfort during 12-hour shifts, mechanics praised their simplicity, and departments celebrated their cost-effectiveness. A Chicago veteran tells of his Crown Vic plowing through 2 feet of floodwater during a pursuit while other cars stalled out. After catching the suspect and returning to the station, all it needed was an oil change. That was the Crown Vic's way. Even today, years after the last one rolled off the production line in 2011, you'll spot them on the streets. Some departments stockpiled parts and maintained their fleets because they simply couldn't find anything better. The Crown Victoria Police Interceptor wasn't just a car, it was an institution, a rolling piece of American law enforcement history that served with distinction for over 20 years. In an era of disposable everything, it stood as a testament to the idea that some things are built to last. Painted in midnight black and packing Corvette muscle, the Dark Knight didn't need a spotlight to command respect. By the time you saw those hidden flashlights, you'd already lost to a legend. Chevrolet's Midnight Warrior. In 1994, Chevrolet unleashed what would be known as the Dark Knight of Detroit, the Impala SS and its workhorse sibling, the Caprice 9C1. Born from Corvette DNA and painted almost exclusively in black, these menacing machines earned their nickname among officers and criminals alike. What lurked beneath the hood made these cars special. Chevrolet took the legendary LT1 V8 from the Corvette, detuned it slightly for durability, and created a perfect balance of power and reliability. With 260 horses and a tire-shredding 330 foot-pound of torque, these weren't your grandfather's Chevys. The bulletproof 4L60 automatic transmission and practical column shift completed the package. The Texas Highway Patrol tells a legendary story about their Impala SS known as Black Beauty. During a high-speed pursuit, a suspect radioed his friends, bragging that no cop car could keep up with his modified ride. The officer behind the wheel of the Impala SS simply smiled as he maintained the chase effortlessly. The pursuit ended with one more street racer learning a hard lesson about judging books by their covers. The police package Caprice 9C1 became particularly notorious. Sharing the same muscular heart as its Impala SS cousin but wearing a more conservative suit, it was the sleeper of sleepers. Officers swore these cars had a sixth sense for trouble, with handling that seemed to improve the harder they were pushed. A retired Chicago detective credits his Caprice 9C1 with saving his life during a winter chase. The suspect's lighter, more powerful car spun out on an icy curve, while the Caprice's perfect weight distribution and robust chassis powered through without hesitation. "That car," he said, "knew what to do before I did." The production run lasted just 3 years, from 1994 to 1996, but these vehicles left an indelible mark on law enforcement history. Today, surviving examples, especially the Impala SS, are highly sought after by collectors. The few remaining police package Caprice 9C1s are particularly rare, having earned their retirement the hard way, serving and protecting until their final shift. These weren't just police cars, they were rolling statements of authority that commanded respect through presence alone. In an era where law enforcement vehicles were becoming increasingly standardized, the Impala SS and Caprice 9C1 stood apart, dark nights in a world of ordinary patrol cars. They thought it was just another import tuner at the street race, right until the moment blue and red lights lit up the night. Connecticut's secret weapon didn't need American muscle to teach speeders a Japanese lesson in humility. The Mazda MX-6 Evolution. When you think of police pursuit vehicles, a Mazda MX-6 probably doesn't come to mind. Yet, in 1988, the Connecticut State Police pulled off one of law enforcement's most innovative moves by deploying these Japanese sports coupes as undercover units, a program that would evolve across 2 generations. The first generation arrived in 1988 with options, a modest 2.2-liter base engine producing 110 horsepower, or the department's preferred turbocharged variant pushing 145 horses. But it was the second generation, introduced in 1993, that cemented the MX-6's legacy. Its 2.5-liter V6 engine produced a robust 164 horsepower and 160 foot-pounds of torque, enough to surprise even the most seasoned street racers. A veteran Connecticut trooper tells it best. The first gen with the turbo was like a secret weapon. Nobody saw it coming. But that second gen V6, that was a whole different animal. Smooth as silk until you needed the power. Then it transformed. We had guys in modified cars doing double takes when we caught up to them, trying to figure out how a regular MX-6 was keeping pace. The genius lay in its perfect cover. During the explosive East Coast import scene of the 90s, the MX-6 was the perfect undercover platform. A famous story from 1995 tells of a second-gen MX-6 patrol unit breaking up a major street racing ring. The officer infiltrated so effectively that racers would ask for modification advice, right up until the hidden lights came on. Each generation brought its own strengths. The first-gen turbo delivered surprising bursts of power, while the V6 second gen brought sophisticated performance with linear power delivery. Even the base model 2.0-liter with 118 horsepower proved effective for urban surveillance, where agility mattered more than raw speed. Today, both generations have virtually disappeared from the rows, their law enforcement heritage known only to a select few collectors. But their impact lives on. They proved that thinking outside the traditional American police car box could yield remarkable results. In an era when everyone watched for Crown Vics and Caprices, Connecticut's Mazda fleet showed that sometimes the best police car is the one that doesn't look like a police car at all. A smiling face that hid deadly intent, and a family SUV that could hunt you down anywhere you ran. The neon that could. In the mid-1990s, Fairfax, Virginia's police department made what seemed like a bizarre choice. They added the humble Dodge Neon to their unmarked fleet. The genius lay in its ordinariness, particularly the DOHC RT variant, which packed 150 horsepower into a lightweight compact car. Officers nicknamed them the Smiling Assassins due to the Neon's characteristic happy-face front end. A Fairfax officer tells the story best. "We had this drug runner who kept slipping away because he knew all our usual unmarked vehicles. One day, he pulled up next to a teenager's Neon at a light, even giving it a dismissive look. That Neon turned out to be our DOHC unit. The look on his face when the lights came on was priceless." With a 5-speed manual transmission and a 6,500 RPM redline, these compact cruisers could weave through city streets where larger police vehicles struggled to maneuver. The base SOHC engine's 132 horsepower proved more than adequate for urban pursuit work. The Cherokee, nature's police car. Meanwhile, the Jeep Cherokee was revolutionizing rural and suburban law enforcement. Equipped with the legendary 4.0-liter inline-6 engine producing 182 horsepower and 218 foot-pound of torque, it brought something new to police work: go-anywhere capability. A Colorado state trooper tells the story that made the Cherokee famous. "We had this group running drugs through back city roads, thinking they were safe because conventional police cars couldn't follow. They didn't count on our unmarked Cherokee. One rainy night, they all turned off road thinking they'd lost us. Instead, they learned why we called our Cherokee the All-Terrain Authority." Drug interdiction units particularly favored the Cherokee because it could pursue suspects across any terrain while maintaining the appearance of a typical family SUV. The strategy proved so effective that some departments maintained their Cherokee fleets well into the 2000s. The legacy of the unlikely pair. A veteran officer who worked with both vehicles summed it up perfectly. "The Neon was our city scalpel, precise and unexpected. The Cherokee was our Swiss Army knife, ready for anything, anywhere." Together, they changed how we thought about what makes a good police car. Today, both vehicles have largely disappeared from police service, but their influence lives on. They proved that effective law enforcement vehicles don't always wear a badge on their sleeve. Whether it was a smiling Neon slipping through city traffic or a Cherokee conquering backcountry roads, these unlikely heroes showed that success in law enforcement isn't always about having the biggest engine or the most intimidating presence. Sometimes, it's about being the last thing a criminal expects to see in their rearview mirror. They're gone now, but their legacy lives on in every criminal's rearview mirror paranoia, because the best police car might just be the one that doesn't look like a police car at all.